In our quest to promote the mental health and well-being of all persons, we've targeted children and young adults. This is because majority of mental illnesses start in the period of adolescence and early adulthood. That's a critical time of development. Poor mental health has the potential to end it all for the hope of all countries, that is the children. And usually it is silent and the sufferers hardly talk about it. They may not even know what it is they are experiencing and who and where to seek help for. According to an England national survey in 2017, 12.8% of 5 to 19-year-olds in England experienced at least one mental health disorder. In Ghana, prevalence of mental disorders among primary school children and adolescents is 7.25%. According to Kwabena Kusi-Mensah, in his study on mental health, he cited that the prevalence of children and adolescent mental disorders was higher in public schools than in private schools. This finding had a predictive relationship with academic achievement, which enforces the need to address the causes of poor school performance to stem the tide. Some of the mental disorders identified are depression, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, intellectual disability, conduct disorder, seizure disorder. Also, we noticed that levels of emotional difficulties in girls in secondary schools in England increased between 2009 and 2014. Among 17 to 19-year-olds, girls were more than twice as likely to have a mental disorder than. What happens to children and young adults when they experience poor mental health? There's lack of social inclusion. Participation among 11 to 19-year-olds in school clubs was lower with those with mental health disorder than those without the disorder. There was also low participation in clubs outside schools as regards those with mental disorder than those without. There was the prevalence of antisocial and offending behavior. There's also bullying. Young people aged 11 to 19 with mental disorders were more likely to bully others than those without the mental disorder. There's higher likelihood to seek identity in bad company or behaviors, or escape the mental health challenges through the use of hard drugs only to move from a frying pan to fire. There's also lower well-being. Mental well-being was higher in 11 to 19-year-olds with mental disorder compared to those without the disorder. Well-being levels also varied by the disorder and were higher for neurodevelopmental disorder and lowest for emotional disorder. High self-esteem was 5 times less common in 11 to 19-year-olds with mental disorder compared to those without the mental disorder. And high self-esteem levels varied by the disorder from 14.1% for neurodevelopmental disorder to 3.7%. For all that children and young adults may be going through, for all the dysfunction and divorce going on, for all the psychosocial problems they encounter, for all the problems women face during and after pregnancy, there's a silent canker. It eats up vulnerable people till the day comes when the brain and body can no longer compensate for all the negative emotions, thoughts, perceptions, feelings, and behavior. What then do we do about this problem? The problem of mental health is like an octopus. It is hydra headed. Where do we tackle the problem from to make the most impact? Where will minimal resources yield maximum results?